Yo, it's YouTube. Today we reacted to P. What's in their head? I'm not gonna say the full name because you know we might get issues because of YouTube. As y'all see there, top right, you see a Twitch chat. Join the Twitch link down below in the description. Yeah, let's get in the head. Oh my god.
This is Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey, oh my
friend
god.
of presidents and Hollywood stars, owner of a private island. And jet. Not life,
Motion.
but a dream full of wealth and power. But the whole world recognized his name not because of his accomplishments.
The video is 60 minutes long.
But because of his crimes, in which, according to some documents, even the wealthiest and most influential people in the world are involved. Statistically, 1 in 5 children in the world experience inappropriate adult behavior.
1 out of
There
5?
are almost certainly victims in your environment, and possibly even the perpetrators themselves.
I don't know, have I been sexualized?
And most of them look like ordinary people.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
Some of them
It
are
might be
even
me.
your idols or leaders. In the last video, we talked about how orientation is formed in the womb. And here comes the awkward question. If homosexuality is an innate feature of the brain, does this mean that attraction to children is also a kind of orientation?
Why is it so
we
slow?
will discuss the most taboo
What the hell?
topic in psychology. Where does
Is the mouth no different?
this deviation
Yo, the audio feels like it's...
come from, and is it
What's wrong with the audio? Oh, it's Russian. I'm watching dubbed video. Chat, should we watch it in Russian or just dubbed? Because it looks kinda weird, but I was like,
actually
okay.
one? Why and how exactly?
Okay, let's watch
is their
this. Let's
brain
watch this in
different from ours?
English, I guess.
Is it possible to recognize a dangerous person before the irreparable
We should try
happens?
it with the Russian
And
dub. Okay, let's see Russian dub. Will we be able to survive this?
Главное, можно ли это
And can he be
вылечить?
cured? Oh my god, this looks so tough.
Представьте, что у человека в голове есть переключатель сексуального интереса. У большинства он настроен на взрослых. Ну, или людей своего возраста.
Let's watch it in English, even though Russian sounds so much better. He has a so much sexier voice with this. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is actually an interesting topic. Hold on.
Can it be cured?
Can it be cured? Okay.
Imagine that a person has a switch
Switch.
for sexual interest in their head.
Yeah, cause
Most
why do we? Cause we first loved the look of minors. Okay, that sounds crazy. Okay, when we was kids, we liked kids. Okay, and then we became teens. Then we liked teens. After we became teens, usually you should be liking adults. So why?
have it set up for adults. Well, or people their own age. This switch usually matures with us.
Exactly.
But there are those who have this switch stuck at the very beginning.
Oh my god.
Why? This has related concepts. Hebephilia, attraction to children at the beginning of puberty, and ephebophilia, to adolescents whose puberty is almost complete.
Oh, I think most of the people are epopopo.
Modern psychiatry separates these two definitions from the standard disorder, and ephebophilia is not considered an official diagnosis at all, because we are already talking about an almost adult.
Yeah.
But why the nuance at all? Because not every attraction to younger people is a diagnosis. And even a diagnosis doesn't always cause a crime.
Okay.
And vice versa. Many people convicted of molestation have no pathology whatsoever. After all, more often than not, it's about character and weaknesses, about fear of equal relationships, about the need to dominate, about the desire to feel stronger,
Is that
about
why?
insecurity. And people younger than you are the easiest target.
I guess.
So when you see someone who is fundamentally looking much younger, it's usually not about looking for youthful beauty or some kind of pathology.
Oh.
Often it's about his inner
It's because it's in Russian and we're watching English dub now. I know it looks weird.
insecurity and trying to compensate for it through control and authority over his partner. And the greater this insecurity,
Just
the
read.
greater its compensation.
Just watch the subtitles down below, and it's like he's saying it in himself, so you don't see his lips move.
But the real
thing.
pathology is something else entirely. It's not about midlife crisis, self-gratification, and weird tastes.
Okay.
It's about the attraction to those who fundamentally do not understand what is happening,
There you have
cannot
it.
give consent, and always end up as victims. In the language of psychiatry, pedophilic attraction refers to a persistent and recurrent sexual interest in children who have not yet even begun the process.
Yo, but no, this is so weird, bro. Because you can gaslight, I guess, as like 16-year-old, but then again, then might as well go for someone that's an adult. So you get me, but like, this is weird. I cannot grasp this.
Not teenagers, but prepubescent
like
children.
why?
And it's not just the terms that matter. It's about how the brain itself is set up.
That's so
Normally,
nasty.
he automatically notes, this is a potential partner.
Yeah.
And this is a child that needs to be protected.
Facts.
In healthy people, this filter clearly separates these categories, but in people with pedophilic attraction, the boundary is shifted. The childlike appearance fails to pass this filter and is mistakenly categorized as sexually significant cues. And according to research, it starts much earlier than a person even realizes what sex is. There are several recurring details seen in neurobiology papers.
Oh my god, it's so full.
On average, such people have lower intelligence scores on IQ tests, and often the stupider the pedophile, the younger his victim. They are more likely to have minor congenital features.
Wait, so the more you're like a minor, the restarted you are. Oh my god, that's crazy. Because, I mean, it makes sense though. Because there is something wrong with your brain either way, and you cannot even comprehend that a kid is a kid. Oh my god, that's crazy.
And developmental abnormalities. And MRIs find
Yo, chat, I'm already started, bro.
critical differences. They have reduced gray matter in the orbitofrontal cortex, the area responsible for self-control.
Wait, but if you like teens, oh no, they said teens is not really that much of a disorder, but liking kids is a disorder. Okay,
And the brain
okay, it makes sense.
connections associated with sexual arousal are also disrupted.
Damn.
The brain is designed so that some people use others, while others use the system. But where do these kinds of glitches in the head even come from?
Okay.
There is no one simple reason. But if you collect the data, a set of risk factors emerges. Complications of pregnancy, prematurity, oxygen deprivation during labor, severe infections, and even head trauma.
Damn.
Which sometimes causes
Oh my days, so if I beat someone hard enough in the head, he might become a pred?
the system to break down in adult.
Damn! Imagine you're married to your husband, someone beats up your husband for defending you, he starts touching your kid.
The most famous case was described in 2003. A 40-year-old teacher and happy husband suddenly became interested in forbidden content. When he was referred for an MRI, they found a tumor in the orbitofrontal cortex, which is responsible for control. The tumor was removed and the deviant behavior disappeared. But a year later, the tumor came back, and with it, the symptoms.
Oh my god, yo, this is crazy. Yo, I did not know. Oh my god. So, I hope my front head is never gonna get damaged.
Same thing can happen due to strokes, Parkinson's disease, dementia, and other conditions that destroy the brain.
Yo, that's scary though, because then everyone can be a pred.
While such examples are rare, they show one important
it's rare.
thing. Pedophilia
It's something
is
in
a
the brain.
malfunction in the brain.
Yeah.
But biology is only half the story. In many criminal cases and studies, familiar patterns pop up. Emotionally cold parents, violence in the family,
Oh,
a lack
damn.
of healthy close relationships, and even chronic loneliness. There is even a persistent myth. Those who survive childhood abuse will become abusers themselves.
Facts.
But that's not entirely true.
I heard
Most
that.
people with traumatic childhoods don't become pedophiles and maniacs by standard. It's
Okay.
just that if there are already biological disorders, the external environment will simply be the final catalyst.
Oh, damn.
One of the creepiest examples is the story of Anatoly Slivko. He ran a hiking club in which he organized exciting nature hikes for children. Dozens of parents trusted him with their children, seeing him as a caring and good teacher.
Oh, no.
However, the story of a seemingly ordinary counselor ended with his death penalty in 1989.
That's
For the murder
recently.
of 7 innocent children. For years, he selected the boys he liked the most. The chosen ones were offered to participate in individual trials in which he drove them to unconsciousness. And then he acted out his fantasies, capturing them in photos and on film, keeping these as trophies. And sometimes, he would just kill them. He is remembered as a counselor ripper, as one of the most notorious serial killers in the history of the USSR. He was born in 1938, but was
This is in Russia, by the way.
strangled.
Damn, that's so crazy because
by the
we usually hear the American side because we listen to the English stories, but bro, the Russians, the Chinese, all of them have this issue as well, bro.
Umbilical cord at birth, suffering brain damage. His childhood gaped, but was
Whoa.
strangled by the umbilical cord at birth, suffering brain damage. His childhood was wartime, facing violence and executions before his eyes. In 1961, he witnessed a traffic accident when a drunk motorcyclist hit a column of young
Oh, yeah,
pioneers, killing a boy right in front of his eyes. Anatoly said that it was this scene that suddenly caused him a strong sexual arousal and tied his sexuality to the image of a dying boy in a pioneer uniform.
Oh my days, he seen someone instantly get. Oh, yikes.
He chose his victims using the same principle. He
They
was
gotta be
looking
young
for children like
and-
that dead boy. This is called imprinting. when the brain seems to stamp a very intense situation into memory and stick a specific...
I guess it's because of the thrill they got in that moment. Obviously, your body was like, what happened? And then the full drop, your dopamine spikes, and then he gets a rush, I guess.
Specific reaction to it. Especially when the brain and psyche are already damaged and vulnerable the most.
Fries.
Another well-known example is Chikatilo. A man whose childhood was spent in war, witnessing multiple traumatic episodes of violence and murder, and who grew up as an outcast from childhood from his surroundings at school to his family. Its victims were not only children, but all vulnerable groups of people.
Damn.
Thanks to which he was able to implement scenarios of sadism and control, compensating for his worthlessness in which he was raised through absolute power over a defenseless victim. Some of his case reviews mentioned that he had focal lesions in his prefrontal cortex.
What the hell is focal lesions?
This was also mentioned by the psychiatrist.
Capri, you know what focal lesion is? Focal lesions. Something in the brain. A focal lesion in isolated, localized area of abnormal tissue in an organ or body part, so in the brain. So he had a weird tissue in the brain.
Psychiatrists who examined him, attributing it to brain damage before he was born.
Damn.
I mean, it may well be the same story here. The symbiosis of a vulnerable broken brain with a negative external environment, even though to everyone he was an ordinary family man and a good teacher at school. But who was eventually accused and executed for at least 52 murders.
52!
And if in Slivko's case, the parents themselves put their children in good hands. In Chikatilo's case, the system simply refused to believe that a person like that could even exist.
That's crazy.
And because of that, it allowed him to keep acting for years. But it's important to realize Slivko and Chikatilo are the tip of the iceberg, the most vivid movie incidents that documentaries are made about. Most people with pedophilic attraction don't become serial killers, and most crimes against children don't look like a horror movie.
Yeah.
In reality, it's
they just
much
touch
quieter,
them, no? And they watch
in
vids.
most cases, it's just ignored. Violence is more often disguised as friendship, care, and attention, what psychologists call grooming. And it's not some secret ritual, but a very gradual trust training. It's as if the adult is scanning the environment and looking for the most vulnerable child. Someone who has problems at home, who feels left out, who isn't listened to by adults. First, he becomes the kind of adult who understands, gives special gifts, attention, privileges. And over time, the boundaries move millimeter by millimeter, from innocent conversations to actions that the child doesn't even know how to name yet. And if before there were circles, camps, and schools, now everything is much easier and more dangerous thanks to the internet. In games, chat rooms, and social networks, everything follows a familiar pattern. First attention and understanding, then moving to action. And this is where it's important to break one stereotype. When we hear the word pedophile, we automatically think of a man. But women commit these crimes too. They're just less likely to be noticed. Because a woman's care for a child is seen as something natural, not suspicious. A nanny, a teacher, an older friend. No one sees a threat where they don't expect it.
I've heard crazy stories of my friends.
Such cases more often remain in the shadows and don't even make it to the investigation. And news stories like a teacher had sex with her student.
Bro, yo, this is crazy. Why is this pulling up like a lot now?
Usually,
I think it's because the little boys started to realize that this shit is bad. I think because of the internet, it tells them that it is bad. But back in the day, without the internet, you didn't even realize that shit was bad.
We get flooded with thrilled comments like,
"Shut up, shit.
What a legend. That guy really got lucky."
Yep.
So society needs to be mindful of the norms, and parents need to be especially mindful of who a child is surrounded by both in life and online.
The water
And
spray
who
is such
is
a
he surrounded
helper, bro.
by at home?
Oh, it's so cold.
Loving parents or strict wardens?
Yeah.
And yes, if you need support that is difficult to get from outside, I would like to remind you that we have a free AI bot for psychological support. It won't replace a real But if pedophilia is something that can happen before birth, and something similar happens, as we found out in the last video, during orientation formation, when a person's brain is folded differently under the pressure of different factors, then can we call pedophilia another kind of orientation? Yes. And a categorical no. When you bring ethics into it, it's clear. Sexual orientation is about mutual, consensual relations between
two adults, yeah.
And pedophilia is an action directed at a vulnerable group where informed
Why does it look kinda...
consent cannot be. But ethics aside, indeed, the two phenomena have a partial similarity in the brain. Both manifest as stable preferences, both engage similar areas of the brain, and both can appear before birth due to a symbiosis of disorders, being in fact a congenital malfunction. and consequently are incurable, at
That's
least at
so
this point in
fried.
the history and development of science. But
Oh
however
my god, imagine you can cure someone that's pred. That would be huge.
you look at it, the phenomenon is different.
Oh my god, that would be so huge. I think every pred is gonna take that, no? If you can cure yourself without... Let's say you can just buy something, you take it, and you're cured. Oh my god, that would be so huge. Why would a pred not do that? He will stop being a weirdo. Oh my god, this is huge.
Orientation depends mainly on the hypothalamus, and pedophilia is from
I need that.
the frontal temporal zones, often coupled with developmental disorders or deficits in other areas of the brain. And pedophilia, unlike orientation, can be acquired as a result of trauma or illness.
Yeah, I
And in
guess.
such cases, it may even be reversible. That is, to put it simply, orientation is a different arrangement of the
Wait, if you can reverse it, then that means you can reverse also gay people then. Because if you're born with the likeness of liking, you know, younger adolescents, then if she was born being gay, I mean that's the same with, okay, you can also make someone straight gay.
brain. And
No?
pedophilia is either its insufficient development or simply a damaged brain with a broken
Okay.
or completely absent filter, caused in part by a greater vulnerability
I will
to
make
traumatic
this chat
events.
gay, bro.
This is why pedophilia is usually ranked with other types of paraphilias rather than orientations. For example, zoophilia. Because in a
Nasty.
way, it is the same thing. At the
Like in
beginning of the
animals
video,
as well?
We already talked about the internal filter that marks who our potential partner is. In a healthy brain, this filter works on several parameters at once.
Age,
species, and human condition.
Yeah.
Normally, only adults of our species pass through this filter. In pedophilia, it is primarily the filter of age that breaks down. A child's appearance is mistakenly put in the same basket where adults are, and with zoophilia, the filter of the species breaks.
Yeah, what the? How are you gonna do that with a dog?
For some reason, the brain starts perceiving the animal as a sexually significant stimulus. Though all these stories look different on the outside, but at the level of principle, it is the same type of breakdown. A system that was supposed to be set up for one thing breaks down for one reason or another.
I
And
can't?
zoophilia can also be acquired from injuries and illnesses. Overall, it's basically a matter of luck, depending on which filter happens to break first. Therefore, oddly enough, the conclusion here is both very simple and obvious, and very unpleasant. Yes, pedophilia
Cool.
and other paraphilias are not just dirty fantasies, but real mental and brain disorders, often embedded before birth and exacerbated by the environment. Yes, a person does not choose which filter they get, and in its own way, it evokes compassion, especially to those who will never commit a crime. But it's still important to remember that each of us is fully responsible for our actions.
Yeah, facts.
And the moment that inner defect turns into a real act toward a child, it's no longer about biology. It's about a crime.
Yeah.
Pedophilia is about the vulnerable who do not understand what is happening and cannot say no. There are no gray areas here, no matter how much talk there is about the brain, hormones, and childhood trauma. Any move from fantasy to action towards a child
That becomes a
is
crime.
always abuse and always
Yeah.
the destruction of someone else's life. And our task as a society here is pretty down to earth. Not to romanticize rich maniacs and strange geniuses. Not to turn a blind eye to the strange behavior of respectable
Facts.
people, covering themselves with their status
But
and
to
authority.
put awareness.
And don't pretend we can't have that.
Facts.
And most importantly, not to teach children only that adults should be listened to and respected, but to talk to them about the fact that they have the right to their own boundaries, the right to be on equal footing. The child needs to hear from the family not only about obedience, but also that the parents will always listen and never judge. That he's in a safe environment, not a vulnerable one. And I hope this video was not only interesting, but in some ways helpful. Take
Interesting.
care of yourself and your loved ones, especially those who cannot yet protect themselves. That was Albert. Subscribe to the channel.
Damn, not bad. It was actually good. I like this vid.